Hello and welcome to another episode of A Day in the District. I'm your host, Chelsea Whittington. A Day in the District is a program designed to help you, the viewer, stay connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. I'm going to take you back on a trip down memory lane. Remember those days in the lunchroom? Remember those sweet matrons that would slip you an extra cookie if you were good or you stayed behind to help? Well, those are my fond memories of having a great time and a great lunch in the Gary schools. And I'm so excited to report that that type of consistency and deliciousness still exists in the schools today. Don't believe me? Then we're going to chat with my guest today. To my immediate left is my friend and colleague, Hermann. Rhea Hermann and Gwenette Bush, two team members here who are overseeing how our young people get nourished. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
So we're going to talk food and beverage, but before that, I would love for the two of you to introduce yourselves as who you are as individuals before you make all of that deliciousness and magic happen in our schools and the kitchens.
All right. Well, again, I'm Rhea Hermann, and I hail from the great city of Chicago, but I am very happy to be working in Gary, Indiana. I've been in food service over 27 years.
Wow.
And I am very happy. I've been in any segment you can think of, I've worked it. This is my second year in schools, and I will say that it has definitely been a learning experience. But once I learned it, I'm on it. You can ask Gwen. Because of what my thing is, I believe in providing just excellent service above all, and food should shine, regardless of where it's served.
Yes.
I am a family woman, a church woman, a Christian.
Amen.
I love the Lord. I have one son. He's 22. I'm a widow, but I am very blessed. I will say that.
All right. I'm thinking we're blessed to have you here in the district. I'm thinking you're sticking around because us Gary folks are so loving and accepting. Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Well, we are so glad to have you.
Thank you.
27 years of experience.
Yes, ma'am.
That is simply amazing. We'll talk more about that in a minute. My friend Gwen, when you talk about getting those extra cookies and things like that, that's my friend, whether I need them or not. Hey, Gwen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm Gwen Bush. I've been I'm the operation manager here
Look
at Gary
over
Schools.
here at me, Gwen. You're the
Oh,
operations manager.
I want to talk to them. I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So I'm the operation manager here at Gary Schools. I've been in Gary for 8 years now. Like Rhea, we both came from Sodexo, and I've been in the district with Sodexo for 24 years.
Wow.
I've been 24 years with Sodexo, and prior to that I was in restaurants. And I worked in segments like Rhea. We worked in healthcare and schools. I worked in Chicago Public Schools, and then I went into healthcare, and then I came back into schools. And I've been, like I said, with Gary for 8 years. I love it. I love the babies. Everyone know when I say don't mess with my babies,
That's
don't
right.
mess with my babies.
That's right.
And I just like being here for so long. I do want to branch off and do different stuff, but I like being here because these are our children. And providing nutrition meals for them is what I love. And Rhea would tell you I love to teach and go, teach the babiys while I'm in the school and stuff like that.
Yes.
I am single. Well,
It's not that
I'll put
show,
you like
but
this.
okay.
Ain't no
We got
ring
a
on
widow,
it.
and I'm single.
ain't no ring on. I push it like that.
Okay.
And I am no children, but like.
But you
Rhea,
have thousands of children in the
I have
district.
1,000 babies,
I
like my
love
friend, grandma
it.
babies.
So let's just dive in. Again, every time I have guests on the show, I talk to them about what feedback I get from the community since I face the community. And last week, I had the privilege of talking to our transportation team. And while we know education is paramount and that's the most important thing, there are those supplemental services that get the children to the classroom. We need the transportation, and they need to be fed so that they can focus.
Right.
And so every now and again, you'll have that, finicky eater, picky eater, a student or a scholar who decides, well, I'm not eating in the lunchroom, and then it gets miscommunicated, if you will, that food isn't available.
Right.
There's nothing to choose from. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? go to the source.
Right.
And so, Gwen, can you start us off by telling us the process and how we select the menus for our various buildings, because we have different nutritional needs per age.
Right. So every state is different as far as the rules and regulations, but at the end of the day, everybody reports up to the USDA.
Okay.
So when you have different schools that have what they call CEP or free, reduced, and paid, Gary falls under CEP, which means all the students in Gary eat free.
Okay, so no barrier.
No barrier.
We can eat at school.
Yes, you can eat at school. Everybody can get breakfast free, lunch free. So what happens when you have that is when you have that type of program, you have certain strict state regulations. And me working in Indiana and Illinois, Indiana is very strict. They're strict.
No, not Indiana.
Yes. But what we do is we try to put the things in there. Even when you plan in the menu, you have to make sure first you got to start off with all the food has to be wheat, whole grain wheat or wheat enriched, which means that your rice, your potatoes have to be wheat or wheat grain enriched.
Okay.
That has to be the first ingredients. And if you don't have that, you're what they call not in compliance with the state. So if they ever come out and do an audit, you are in violation. So that means that the revenue that they give back to the district, we won't receive.
We don't get it. Okay.
So that's when we start off. And I think that's where some of the problems come in when the kids pick. If mom and dad don't cook pasta wheat at home, they're not going to eat it in the schools. That's when they complain that it don't taste right. It's not seasoned.
But isn't it healthier, though?
It's healthier.
Wheat, grain-based. And that's the other part of it. As I can't believe we're almost wrapping up our first segment. But I think that people need to understand that it's not your job to just come in and appease.
Right.
I want pizza and I want hot chips every day. That is not your job to say, well, I'll just give you something so you're full, because food directly connects to being able to perform in the classroom.
Yes.
And I will just say before we get out of here for our first segment, Rhea, for you and what you've seen across the board, whether it's in the schools or not, how do you see that nutrition part of it playing an important role with what you do?
Oh, it definitely plays an important part. For the most part, in schools, by it being a wheat-based, like when I first started here, I was just like, why does this taste different? Like your normal Pop-Tart in the store does not taste like our Pop-Tart in the cafeteria. Because it's wheat-based. And I think a lot of people fail to realize, I heard comments before, oh, this is too much sugar for the kids in the morning. It's not the same sugar you'll find in the grocery store.
Oh, and I didn't know this.
And those are the things that you learn as you get into the school segment, that it's definitely different.
Well, I just want our parents to know that we have professionals with great experience in place following the rules of the USDA to ensure that our children get properly nourished. When we come back, we're going to chat more with our food team and find out a little bit about the magic that happens behind the scenes. Stay right there. We will be right back with A Day in the District.
When you join the Army, the first thing they teach you is how to get in line. Not exactly the same in high school. When I enrolled in Westside Leadership Academy and joined ROTC, the first thing I learned was respect. Not just for God and country, but for myself.
Gary Schools, strong, resilient, built for education.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life.
And we are back talking about one of my favorite subjects, food. I'm Chelsea Whittington, and you are watching A Day in the District, chatting with my colleagues over in our food services division, Rhea and Gwenette, short for what we call her Gwen. And you all have such an important role in the school district. I may joke about it and think about those good old peanut butter cookies from when we were growing up, but there's a such thing about a balanced meal to be able to perform. And so in the last segment, Gwen, you had started talking about some of the USDA requirements and getting adjusted to some of the tastes. Continue and tell me more about the steps we take to make sure we're in compliance.
Okay, so with the USDA also, like when you do healthcare, a lot of parents, like if you're on a certain diet, if you're on a diabetic, you can't have lots of type of sugar and this and that. So it's same thing with kids, students. So they go like K through 8, or you can go K through 5. So K through 5 has to have a certain amount of a certain amount of calories, certain amount of sodium. And then you can go 7 through 8. They put the grade, it's like a calorie count of what they can have, and then you can do high schools. So like let's just say elementary K through 5, they can have 2 ounces of meat that is required by the government. Well, then a high school student can get 3 ounces of meat.
Okay.
Because they still want to keep it healthy. And back in the days when our famous presidents, Michelle Obama and Mr. Obama was in office, President Obama, she came up with the Michelle Obama rule, healthy eating challenge.
Yeah.
So that changed a lot with the USDA, whereas we still follow those guidelines. So we have to give a certain portions, like a child when they come in for breakfast, parents don't know that a child has to take a fruit. The requirements when they call a reimbursable meal, so you have to offer a child a grain in the morning. You can offer them 8 ounces of fruit, and then you don't have to take a milk anymore.
Okay.
So those are the requirements that you have for breakfast. So when we plan out our menu, we try to see what the kids like. So when we start off in August, we put out different things. Most of these kids in Gary love Pop-Tarts. They want the Pop-Tarts and they want the cereal bars.
Okay.
Whereas on the outside, when we're adults, we looking at it like Rhea said in the last segment, that you think
Sugary.
that
Right.
it's sugar. But if you look at the back of it, it's not.
Okay.
I love strawberry Pop-Tarts. And I had the ones in the school compared to what I had at home. And I'm like, oh, I wonder why we want it. And then, I'm jumping on the wall. And a lot of people think, oh, you're giving them all this sweet products. It's not. A lot of the milk that we use is fat-free. A lot of our fruit that we use is sugar-free. Or it has to be restrictions as far as low fat. Items, and that's the part it is. It's not the kids jumping off the wall because they eat no darn
Exactly.
Pop-Tarts.
I won't say where it's from. But Rhea, I'm going to move over to you to just say, now that Gwen has kind of set the stage to let us know what guidelines we're following, what do we do, or how easy or difficult is it to communicate to families and parents to try to let that trend transcend over to the house? Because you can feed me all that nice fruit and grain, and as soon as the bell ring, I want to pull my hot chips out my backpack. Do we do anything to kind of just encourage the parents to help us help your child?
That is something that we are actively working on
Okay.
for this year. We
Yes.
did meet last year with the FACE liaison, Ms. Tennille, and we did discuss, different methods of how we try to communicate to the kids. And one thing we've learned through surveys is that, we got to be careful in how we instruct the kids. We don't want to fuss at them when
That's
they come
right.
through the line and say, you have to take this, you have to take that.
Right.
We have to educate them.
Yes.
And say that you have to take a fruit or you have to take 3 items. Preferably one of them should be a grain always, and then a
here's
vegetable
why.
and a
Yeah.
fruit. And this is why.
Yeah.
And, because some kids say, oh, I don't want to take it. I'm not going to eat it. And we're like, oh, we don't want to eat
And
that
then
either.
they're hungry.
Right.
That's
right.
the other part of it. I'm just so glad to know that that's happening. And for those who aren't familiar, our FACE liaisons stand for Family and Community Engagement Liaisons, and they communicate with the families and the parents to let them know all of the different opportunities that exist for volunteerism and just keeping them in the know. And food is a big part of that. Now, there is also a population of our students who happen to be homeless.
Yes.
And we service the homeless as well. And we also partner with different organizations throughout the community for that weekend meals. Do you all
Yes.
have any contact, or are you able to identify those students to provide any type of extra assistance?
Yes. I did reach out to Ms. Tennille earlier this year. We had the No Child Hungry.
No child left behind.
Thank you. And then there's a backpack program as well.
Yes,
so
that's
we
the
did.
one.
Sodexo gets a grant for that money, but we have to work with a non-for-profit. So I did reach out to her. She did
Okay.
provide a
Of
non-for-profit.
course she did.
Of course she did. I said I need it immediately, and she got it to me within 20 minutes. So it was perfect. So I was able to reach out and connect that person. So hopefully we'll get the grant money, and then hopefully I'll have something good to report back to you on that.
That is wonderful. And again, our school corporations are the foundation of the community,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And if our children are going to spend the majority of their time with us, we want to make sure that they're nourished and well taken care of. And I don't think that even when I was in school growing up, we didn't have breakfast. They added that on. We had breakfast from home, and then we had lunch. But from what I understand now, we have the after school snacks and all types of things that help our parents to, we fill in that gap until they can get home and get those healthy meals. Before we break, we know that you all work for, I know it's going so fast. We got a couple of minutes, but Sodexo Magic. Last week, I was given the opportunity to actually meet the man himself, Magic Johnson, who has part ownership in Sodexo. Gwen, can you explain his involvement? How did Magic get involved?
Yeah, so Sodexo is a French-based company. We are worldwide, all over the world. You wouldn't even believe, out of all the states, we have we do food, healthcare, we do custodian, we do environmental, we do laundry, landscaping, yes.
Oh, didn't know
Transportation, yes, and we do biomed, biomed too.
Okay.
So Magic, most companies when you're dealing with urban areas, you want to have what you call a minority vendor.
Okay.
Magic being the man of magic,
yes.
he is. He said, I want to get into foods. And he worked a partnership with Sodexo, and it became Sodexo Magic, which Magic owns 51% of Sodexo Magic. And like you said, you met him. I've met him quite a few times, and Magic is great.
Oh.
He has a certain standards that he wants you to follow. That's his name.
Yes.
And he's man, I told Rhea, we went to an event at Allstate before. He's the most excellent speaker I've ever seen.
Yes.
I was sitting there motivated like, ooh,
yes.
let me go.
Yes. You feel it.
Yes. You feel what he's saying.
And I wanted you to explain that connection because, again, it lends credibility to what we are doing in food service in the schools. We have a brand name vendor owned by Magic Johnson and others that are global out of France. I learned so much, and there is more to learn. You are watching A Day in the District, where my illustrious guests are Rhea Hermann and Gwenette Bush. When we come back, we're going to talk about the catering offerings that they feed us so deliciously throughout the district at special events. Stay right there.
I said I'd never join. Thought living on sub would be too hard.
I figured only the weatherman tracks storms.
I said my job wouldn't matter. Never knew how strong I was. I never thought this would be my commute.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown.
Or be the one who stops an attack. Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
It's gross. I don't really want to talk about it. She didn't want to at first, but I mean, it's no big deal. Everybody does it.
I was ready, totally ready, because we had been practicing this dance for weeks.
He was supposed to take this girl to this dance, but
I sprained my ankle at track practice.
I hate sharing anything personal. It's so disgusting.
For the dance, I let her wear my shoes and she hated it, but I thought she looked great in them.
he could barely even walk.
I ended up taking some pills for my pain.
Yeah, they were my mom's, but
it didn't go well.
If it's not yours,
if it's not yours,
if it's not yours,
hey you,
don't take it.
Don't take it.
Don't take it.
Don't take it. You won't believe what happened next.
And we are back. Can you believe it's the final segment of today's A Day in the District? But never fear, we can always have you back. We're chatting with our team in food services. And I'm going to just go back to last school year as we were transitioning from the pandemic it was a transition for us all. When you talk about the sanitation of everything, the sharing of food space, and I just want to applaud you and your teams across the district for making the transition for whatever the government said we had to do to safely serve our children. And I also want to give a shout out. Anytime I'm in any of the buildings, they're always so polite to me, except this one lady who wouldn't give me an apple because she said she had to count her apples. And I respected that. I said, well, yeah, if there's one apple missing, Gwen is gonna, heads are gonna roll around. No, it just tickled me because she was so serious about, no, this is for the children. And I was like, Chelsea, get your own apple. So when we left on the last break, I talked about the caterings. And I want to level set, not to say that we're just out here serving meals all over the place for fancy occasions, but on occasion we have guests who come into the district for various meetings, tours, and we count on your team to show all of our culinary expertise along in partnership with the young people over at the Gary Area Career Center. Go ahead and talk about all those delicious spreads that you all do for our special events.
Butter cookies.
Yes, the butter cookies.
So we do have catering events here, but all of the catering events, so that everybody have clarity, is anytime Sodexo Magic does any caterings, anytime we do a la carte sales where we selling whole grain chips or diet pops or something to the students, or even when we do the after-school snack programs, all of that money is turned into equivalent meals, which means that it goes back into the district.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
So Sodexo Magic does not make any money or profit off any of the catering events we do.
Okay.
So I have some very unique employees. Every employee has their own credibility, own talent. And since I've been here, I kind of like sit back and see who can do what. So I have a team that works with me that always come and do the caterings with me when we do the caterings. And they're the ones that prepare all that delicious food. That is actually your Gary own employees that show their skills that they do the caterings. So whenever, like you said, as a guest speaker in town, I want them to show what they're doing. A lot of people walk up to me and say, Gwen, great job. And I said, no, say hi to the team.
I love it.
Because you know what I can do. This is what they're doing for their people, their community, to show their skills.
So Rhea, what's your specialty? 27 years in food service. I'm sure you have some serious skills.
It's so funny that she say that, because I just literally was in West Side. We're in West Side, and I was witnessing the meal, and I said, we're actually serving mushroom Swiss burgers today.
Ooh.
I said, one of my favorite things as being the manager is being a taste tester.
Oh, you have to have a taste tester. And if you need an extra one, I am available. That's one of my many talents.
Okay, for our people. So, but honestly, my skills are cutting costs.
Oh, we love that.
That is one of my, ask Gwen, I kind of over monitor. But my thing is, I want to
So it was you that said I couldn't have that apple.
It wasn't
Found
me.
it. Say less.
That was her.
I don't, haste makes waste, and waste makes us lose money. So I want to make sure that we're watching our costs, we're not overproducing, we're not over-ordering.
Yes.
Because when those things happen, unfortunately, it's a trickle.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't want to throw food away. There's too many kids that's hungry. So
that's
one of my major skills is watching costs and financials.
I like that. What were you going to say?
Ambassador Hermann counting the apples. Actually, this is our first year. In how many years? We have exceeded our meal participation. And like you say, you hear the complaints and all that. And Rhea always say to me, numbers don't lie. Because these babies are eating.
They're eating.
They are eating. They are eating. And
But
actually,
it says they're hungry too.
they're hungry. But what happened with the state was when the state came to do an audit, and he's actually coming back in December to do another audit for Gary schools. And I said, we have food that we have left over. You know, we don't want to waste it. And people are like, oh, you're throwing it in the garbage, send it out to the shelters and stuff. You can't do that because of HACCP, which is, you know, making sure the food is at temperature.
Okay.
So if we send anything
You
out
don't
and
wanna get
somebody gets sick,
sued.
yes, thank
I
you.
get it.
So what happens is when you're done with your last lunch period, anyone that's in the CAF can come back. Those students that's on the last lunch period can come back and eat.
What time is that?
But what I did tell my staff is that if you know of a child, that a lot of the staff members in the school know those that's homeless. They have that relationship and rapport, and they do work with Tennille and her team to let us identify them. And I said, go to the principal and ask the principal, can that child come back down to eat?
I love it.
Because I don't want the kids to not be, you know, be able to eat and all that. And that's why for breakfast we offer the different items. And everything that we offer is offer versus serve, which means the child can walk in there and pick what they want. You know, if a child come in and ask for a piece of toast, that's what he got, not go complain about it.
Right, right. And so before we get out of here, that's the main reason I had you on, so that parents and guardians and grandparents and community members can rest assured that our children are being properly nourished.
Yes.
And then we're asking for your involvement and partnership in talking to them about what healthy eating looks like while we're at home, and encouraging them to make wise choices, because they are available for them when they get to school. Breakfast, lunch, and then they have those snacks for the extracurricular.
Yes.
And this is all courtesy of these beautiful ladies. We have a couple of minutes left. Closing remarks from you, Rhea, and then Gwen, you bring it on home.
Okay. Well, I am just grateful again for being here. I am grateful that you ask questions that help us be able to communicate to a wider net. And again, we're here for the kids. Everything we do is for the kids. And that's what we tell to our teams, and that's what we express to them, that the kids should always come through and be satisfied and get that feedback.
I love it.
They don't like what we're providing, ask them what would they like to see.
They'll tell you too.
And they will definitely tell you.
Gwen.
And it's the part with the educating, like Rhea said. We actually went and ordered Rhea ordered me some food. You know how you get the plastic food? Like it's a burger and this and that. So I'm actually going to start out with the elementary schools. I want to probably start in McCullough, and I want to get the kindergartens and first grade. And I'm going to start doing what we call a tutoring program, where I'm going to put the food out, and I'm going to have them pick up this food. And then I'm teaching them when I'm in the schools to say how many items you can have. And I was so happy when I was at McCullough, my kindergartens and first graders. I was like, when I go in there, they say, look, my plate, I have my 3 items. So they count it. And it's educating them. And then, like what she said, we're teaching our staff to explain. You know, kids nowadays is why. You know, back in our days, we couldn't say why to mama. You couldn't say that.
Because I said so was the answer across the board.
And so we're trying to also work with Tennille, so we can do with the parents liaison, so we can get a class where we can educate parents. Because knowledge is power. And then parents, when their child come home and say, well, they served me this, it don't taste right. It don't taste like dog food, because it's not.
Right.
But it's actually why it's not all that sugar. It's not all that salt. Kids want hot stuff. They want salt. They want all that. But you can't
you all
serve
are
that.
Here to save the day.
Yes.
And I want to thank you both for being at the helm to ensure the health of our children. You have been watching A Day in the District, and I'm still your host, Chelsea Whittington. A Day in the District is a program designed to help you, the viewer, stay connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. We encourage you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X, and also visit our website, garyschools.org, so you can stay connected to us. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
WSTG